Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. My name is Md.Mehedi Hasan Rasel, student ID 201153492. Today, our topic is transforming conceptual learning into action. Now, I am talking about into and define the term. Into transforming education into action means that we have to transform what we are learn daily life into action. Action is integral part of our life. If we want to survive this society, we have to transform education into action. We can solve our problems by turning this teach into action. The only way to solve the problem is to turn education into action. Define the term. Transforming education into action is an integral part of our life. Education can be defined in many ways. The solution to many of the problems we encounter in the course of our lives is that we solve the problems by transforming the lesson we have learned into action. So, in order to manage our lives and solve problems, we have to transform education into action. Now, we will watching a video.
There are two ways to think about learning. A traditional perspective sees students as empty vessels. Students wait for the teacher to point out the facts and ideas they should collect in their jars. Students hold all the facts in their heads until they dump them out to prove they have retained them. But there's another way to look at learning. In concept-based learning, students begin not as empty vessels, but instead with their own pre-existing ideas, similar to a stone waiting to be sculpted. As we learn, we chisel away at our ideas until they become more sophisticated, clear, precise, complex, and accurate. At the end, we have a profound, well-thought-out idea of our own construction. In the second way of learning, the students are doing the work and benefiting from it, not the teacher. But how do you help students discover and refine these ideas? The secret is simple. Just two words: uncover and transfer. To help students uncover an idea, start with an abstract question. If you're studying the concept of ecosystems, for example, we might start with a question like, what is the relationship between human actions and ecosystems? Have students share their initial thoughts. One might say, people can hurt the environment. That's a good start, but it's not complete. Now, investigate a specific context that illustrates that conceptual relationship. For example, deforestation in the Amazon. From this, students understand that human actions can directly devastate an ecosystem and contribute to the loss of certain species. Transfer is the next step of the process. Introduce a different example that will add a more nuanced understanding than they had before. For example, next you might investigate the effects humans have on oceans. Students will learn that human waste can end up in oceans and harm sea life, also threatening species. This is more of an indirect impact, adding even more nuance and complexity to their understanding. To assess students' understanding of the conceptual relationship, let's transfer again to the Arctic Ocean and have students hypothesize about the impact of global temperatures. Throughout this process of uncovering conceptual relationships and transferring to new situations, students should start to recognize a pattern. Rather than seeing smaller individual ecosystems, students understand the Earth as an entire giant system where human actions may have a great impact. As you introduce more and more examples, students' understanding grows bigger, deeper, and more complex. This deep understanding of how the world works and the ability to transfer ideas to new contexts is an essential skill that allows students to become creators, problem solvers, and innovators.
Thanks for watching the video. I will now request Bushra Badhon to speak her topic.
Thanks to Mehedi for telling his topic. I am Sumayia Badhon. My student ID is 201153262. Now I am talking about what and why necessary. What? Action conversion in activity learning is a skill that allows a person to better understand complex situations and develop creative situations. From a management standpoint, these skills are valuable because those who have these skills can go to different workplace situations in a variety of ways. Helps to deal with complex problems by maintaining in-depth learning processes on learning method, complexity and different solution paths. If we can't translate what we learn after the book into action, then the teaching will have no value. We must transform education into action. Now, why necessary? It is the individual ability to survive in a growing society with the increasing growth of daily life, globalization, rapidly changing technology advances, the speed of the product cycle, and the strengthening of economic competition. If we want to survive in the face of this competition, we must transform our education into action. The more skillful one is, the easier it will be for him to survive the competition. Harvard professor Tony Wesner says several survival skills for a career. 1. Critical thinking and problem solving. 2. Leadership through collaboration and influence across network. 3. Agility and adoption for enterprises and entrepreneurs. 5. Effective oral and written communication. 6. Data access and analysis. 7. Curiosity and imagination. I will now request MD Riaz speak his topic.
Thanks to Badhon for telling him his topic. I'm Riaz. My ID is 201153257. Now I'm talking about how we can get and real life example. How we can get. We have to work very hard to acquire this skill. It needs to be turned into action, not just books. So how to achieve it in shown in blue? One, understanding and observing to synthesis, three, prototype, four, test. If we adhere to the above, we will be able to reach our goal. I have to think a lot more. It is possible to conquer everything in the world by one's own effort and manpower. Real life example. Man never survives through his teachings. Man survives through his actions. Even if a person dies, his deeds never die. Everyone thinks of him through action. Just like that, the father of our nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, that by his moral and his action, he made this Bangladesh independent. Today, we have achieved an independent Bangladesh because of his deeds. He is not here today, but we always remember him for his deeds. Now I will request Obaidullah Tanmoy for his telling her topic.
Thanks to Md. Riaz for telling this topic. Myself, Obaidullah Mahmud Tanmoy, ID number is 201153667. Now I'm telling you about Summary. We all have to keep one thing in my mind, that we learn or read must be translated into action. Transformation into action will be the key of education. If we cannot transform education into action, we will have no value in the education. Action will be an example of education. Education without action is like a car without a key. Just like a car cannot run without a key, education will not be of any use if it cannot be turned into action. So education has to be turned into action. That's it. Thank you all.